Most of us go through life pretending. Most of us go through life like that. Pretending that we're satisfied where we are, pretending that everything is okay. But if you look at our behavior, if you judge based upon what we do, that really will tell you some true stories about people, because you have to judge a tree by the fruit it bears, not the fruit that it talks about. See, a lot of people pretend that they want more out of life, but all you have to do is watch their actions.
We all have weakness. We all have gaps. We all have issues. We all have struggles. And the first step to working your weakness is admitting your weakness. Just because you ignore it doesn't mean it's going to go away. But many times we conceal things and we cover things up because we're concerned that if we'll expose it, we're going to be embarrassed. Have you ever felt exposed before? How many know that sometimes when we expose our weakness, we get embarrassed by it, and because we get embarrassed by it, all we learn is to cover it up.
Have you ever found yourself stuck in one of life's storms? And no matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, it seems that you can't make any headway.
And I'm saying that the fact that you're still here, that you're still breathing, you've got some more work, and you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. So when you get up in the morning, that you can look yourself in the face and say, hey, I'm living my life on my terms. That's important.
I love myself too much to allow people, things, and situations that are dysfunctional to stay in and around my life. I've gotten rid of all things, people, and situations that no longer belong. You have decided to be on the receiving end of everything that these people want to dump on you. You're the victim in your own house. It's that simple. So when you find yourself getting rid of all things and people, situations that no longer belong in your life, you clear out the clutter.
And so the enemy would love to have you think that you're never going to get over it. My life will never be what it could have been. If I wouldn't have. Yeah, we'd all like to go back and do everything perfect. But the whole thing is God is able to take our worst mistakes and actually work them out for our good.
One phone call, one doctor visit, one tick of the clock, and what was calm in your life can turn violent in just a moment.
Prayer and a relationship with God gives you the tools and the weapons to handle life. You can stop thinking that life finna be easy, because I got news for you, it ain't. That's a false hope to think you're gonna have a wonderfully carefree life. That's unthinkable. Faith don't make it easy. Faith makes it possible. You just need some faith.
It's faster downhill than it is uphill. It's easier downhill than it is uphill. It's quicker downhill than it is uphill. And you wonder why you're not being successful, and you're back to the same place that you were. And so what happens is we have a lot of good uphill days, but we have a few downhill days, and the few downhill days cancel out all the uphill days.
So your thinking is your life. You were created to lead and designed to dominate. You don't evolve into a leader. You were created to be one. The manufacturer actually had leadership in mind when he created you. But look at what they've done to you. They've made you an employee. And they told you where you can be employed and where you cannot be employed. And then they restrict how far you can rise in that employment. It's because nobody has challenged the system.
You're called to come out of the crowd. You're called to be counterculture. You're called to come out. Newsflash, the crowd is stupid. The crowd has no identity at all. We just do what everybody else is doing. I was talking to this person today. They're like, I just want to get married so bad, Pastor Rich. I said, why? They said, because all my friends are married. The best reason why you want to get married and spend your life with a person is because your friends are doing it?
Life is serious. The future is serious. It's serious whether you win or lose. It's serious whether you succeed or fail. Life is the struggle to keep death at a respectable distance. You want to live a good, long, flourishing life, you got to push back.
My life is worthwhile. Doesn't matter what I've experienced. Doesn't matter about what I've gone through. Doesn't matter about what I don't have. What's important is that where I am right now, that I live life and I experience my life fully.
Don't miss the opportunity to learn. Take a good key phrase home, use it in your training. Don't be lazy in learning. Don't be casual in learning. Get smart. If you've had a bad week, just sit down and ponder that for a while. Study it. See if you can't pick up some ideas from a poor week and then make a better week. This is called the possibility for life change starts with education. Don't be lazy in learning. Don't be lazy in picking up the ideas. Don't be lazy in learning from your own experience. Learning is the beginning of life change.
Each of us is in either one of three situations. You are either headed towards a storm, or you are just coming out of a storm, or you are in a storm right now. But whatever your situation, God is in control.
And until your thinking change, you are contaminated leadership. They've never heard such a level of teaching on leadership. Why? Because unless your mind changes, you will never become a leader. Ladies and gentlemen, attitude determines your limitation, which means that your belief system determines how far you go. You can never lead beyond your attitude and your belief system. And that's why your life is what you think it should be and exactly what it is. Attitude is the manifestation of your personal philosophy.
Most of us don't grow till you hear the word no. What is your bottom line? If you don't have a bottom line, it's expected of that man or that woman to continue to cross the line. Most of y'all claim to have a bottom line, but as soon as that person says or does the same thing over and over and over, you give them a pass. So therefore, maybe there's a bottom line to you, but you're not enforcing the bottom line. Someone is aware of the fact that you're not a bottom line enforcer, so then they just keep taking advantage of you.
That's why we have to guard our beliefs so preciously, because our mind goes to work on finding these references, which are real experiences in our life, to prove to us that that belief is true. And so although you may believe it to be true about you, these doubts and negative thoughts you have, these were not your original thoughts. You weren't born this way. You weren't born doubting. You were born perfect. You were born believing you were going to do something great. You were born believing you were going to do something special with your life. As a baby, I promise you, you had no negative self-talk. These are external sources. So important to know, because those thoughts aren't really who you are.
Here's a quote that changed my life forever. You should always expect the things that you accept from people. If you have a bottom line, if you know your value, if you know what you're bringing to the table, then you never, ever should take less than what you know you're worth. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to money, when it comes to opportunities.
Your feelings don't shape your life. Your beliefs do. And it doesn't even have to be true. If you believe it, it's going to shape your life. And a lot of you were taught things as a kid about you that just weren't true. And years later, you're still acting on false information. Be transformed by changing the way you think, because my thoughts control my life.
Some people want to start with motivation, but you don't start with motivation. Enough motivation, certainly. But here's the best motivation we've got going. The proof of our success. When we bring our dedication and let it show, that's the motivation we want. right? Not just excitement. Just excitement alone won't do it. If a guy's an idiot, you motivate him. Now you got a motivated idiot.
See, if you go through life holding back, and most of us do, most of us, if we ask ourselves, have we done all we can do? Most of us will have to answer, no, we haven't. We've been holding back. We go through life trying to seek security and not coming outside of our comfort zone, things we want to do. We're afraid to take chances, and we take most of our stuff with us to the grave.
I think so many people out there think that they're cursed or that their life is detrimental, when really it's all a perspective shift. So I want you guys tonight to take some time today, and I want you to think about things that you've experienced in life that you thought were curses, that were really life's workings for you. They were gifts from life that helped make you and mold you into the beautiful person that you are today.
Get smart. Don't miss the training class. Study, learn, grow, change, develop. Never let it be said you didn't learn. Right? If you want to solve your problems, you got to learn. If you want to take advantage of an opportunity, you got to learn. Major determining factor in how your life works out. Each person's philosophy is like the set of the sail. The same wind blows on us all. But what's going to make the major difference? Each person's personal philosophy that sets a better sail, sets a better sail.
Self-love creates a bottom line. Self-love creates a real bottom line, drawing your foot in the sand and saying, anything that you're trying to do from this point on is unacceptable. I refuse to be on the receiving end of any of the mean, evil, and disrespectful things that you just decide you want to unleash on me. It is unacceptable. If you make it to the end of this video, I want you to write, you should always expect the things that you accept. And I want you to make me aware of what is unacceptable. Most of y'all are able to say you don't like your friends. You don't trust them. They tell all of your deep, dark secrets. So why are they still there? If your life and the people that you have in your life creates nightmares for your life, what makes you think that because you're going to sleep, that your mind is going to stop? The nightmares that you're having while you're awake, you're witnessing nightmares. Drama, dysfunction, negative people, you consuming your life. It's like, oh, there's negative dysfunction and drama, and you're going to walk into the direction of dysfunction and drama.
The number one thing that's going to change your life, the only thing that will change your life, change your business, change your money, is you must raise your standards. All of us in life have things we want. We don't get what we want. We get what we have to have. We all get what we tolerate. But when you're no longer willing to tolerate something, that's when your life changes.
How much do you love yourself? You don't trust them. So why are they still there? So if you get rid of these things, people, and situations now, you get rid of the nightmares now, they're not going to have anything new to spread about you. You're in the new season of your life. I want you to win. I want you to get to the next level.
People over and over again, they get so focused on what's next or another season or another space because there is this notion and this idea that somehow the grass is green over the fence on the other side. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is simply green where you choose to water the grass.
Here's my advice to you today. Walk away from the 97%. Don't talk like they talk. Don't act like they act. Don't go where they go. Don't specialize in what they specialize in. Throw away the blame lists they cling to. Start you a new life. Don't let somebody sweep you into some contrary way to nature itself says, unless you labor. The miracle of the seed and the soil and the seasons and God and all the other stuff that's available, sunshine and rain, that's not available to you by affirmation. It is only available to you by labor. So labor well. Discipline yourself well. And you can have all the treasures you want.
The only thing more important than who you are today is who you're becoming tomorrow. How many of you know that where you're headed is more important than where you are? We choose a life of progression, not perfection. It's a phase. Life is a process. And the very fact that we're declaring that we are becoming also insinuates the fact that we are not there yet. If we're not careful, we will turn this concept of becoming into a destination.
A lot of people are running around here trying to figure out what it is to be happy, what it is to be fulfilled, what it is to connect your life and the fulfillment of your life to something. Maybe if I get this, I'll be happy. Maybe if I get that, I'll be happy. Maybe if all of this were to happen by this timeline, by November, I'll be happy. Then you get to November, everything that you wanted and desired happens by November. Then you find yourself still feeling like you're chasing something. And it's like this never ending, it's almost like you're chasing your tail and you never reach it.
I can't do this. It's just too much for me. It's too hard. I can't do this. I can't take it. And today I just want to tell you that you are stronger than you think you are. And I'm going to say that a good number of times, so I want you to let that get down on the inside of you.
Take action. Not hasty if it isn't required, but don't lose much time. Here's the time to act. When the idea is hot and the emotion is strong. That's the time to act. See, Mr. Rohn, I'd like to have a library like yours. See, if you feel strong about that, what you got to do is get the first book and then get the second book. Before the feeling passes and before the idea gets dim, action pronto, action immediate, action as soon as possible. Because if you don't, here's what happens. We call it the law of diminishing intent. We intend to when the idea strikes us. We intend to when the emotion is high. But now if you don't translate that into action fairly soon, now the intent starts to diminish. And a month from now, it's cold. A year from now, it can't be found. So act. Set up a discipline when the emotions are high and the idea is strong and clear and powerful. That's the time to set up the discipline. Somebody talks about good health and you're stirred. Say, right, I need to get a book on nutrition. Get the book before the idea passes and before the emotion gets cold. Go for the book. Start the library. Start the process. Fall on the floor. Do some push-ups. Action. Got to take action. Otherwise, the wisdom is wasted. Otherwise, the emotion soon passes. Unless you put it into a disciplined activity. Capture it. Disciplines is called how to capture the emotion and how to capture the wisdom and translate it into equity. Disciplines. Now, here's what's important about disciplines. All disciplines affect each other. In fact, here's a good philosophical phrase. Everything affects everything else. Nothing stands alone. Don't be naive in saying, well, this doesn't matter. I'm telling you, everything matters. There are some things that matter more than others, but there isn't anything that doesn't matter. We all pity the man who says, well, this is the only place I let down. Not true. Key to take home. Every letdown affects the rest of your performance. Every letdown affects the rest. This is part of the educational process on personal development. If you don't take the walk around the block, you probably won't do the apple a day. If you don't do the apple a day, you probably won't start building your library. If you don't build your library, you probably won't keep a journal, and you won't take pictures, and you won't do this, you won't do wise things with your money, won't do wise things with your time, won't do wise things with your possibilities and relationships, and the first thing you know, 6 years of that accumulated, and we say you have messed up. So the whole key to reversing that process now is to start picking up these disciplines. Now here's the positive side. Every new discipline affects the rest of your disciplines. Every new one affects the rest.
The difference in people is their standards, period. Everyone in the world has a list of things they think they should do. I should lose weight. I should work out. I should work harder. I should make more calls. I should. And then you know what? People don't do their shoulds and they get mad at themselves. What changes people is when your should becomes a must. When suddenly the thing you said should happen has to happen. That's when human beings change. It's like, if you want to take the island, burn the boats. Because if there's no way to go back, it's amazing what happens when it's a must to do something versus a should. That's what makes human beings succeed.
Pick up your damn suffering and bear it and try to be a good person so you don't make it worse. That's what life is like. It's suffering.
Have you ever just had one of those days when your parachute doesn't open? The race has started, but your gate won't unlock. You just can't keep up. You can't keep your head above water. It's just one of those days.
That's why action is so important. The least action, the smallest action. Take it. Because when you start accomplishing and the value starts to return from that one action, it'll inspire you to do the next one and the next one and the next one. You start walking around the block, it'll inspire you to get an apple. Get an apple, it'll inspire you to get a book. Get a book, it'll inspire you to get a journal. Get a journal, it'll inspire you to grow, develop some skills. All disciplines affect each other. Every lack affects the rest. Every new affects the rest. The key is to diminish the lack and set up the new. And you've started a whole new life process. Also, one more thought on discipline. Here's the greatest value of discipline. Self-worth. Self-esteem. People are teaching self-esteem these days, but they don't connect it to disciplines. The least lack of discipline, and it starts to erode our psyche. One of the greatest temptations is to just ease up a little bit, right? The slightest lack of doing your best starts to erode. It's like, instead of doing your best, doing just a little less than your best. Sure enough. You say, well, it's just going to affect my sales. No, it's going to affect your consciousness. It's going to affect your philosophy. Now you've begun in the slightest way to affect your own philosophy. Here's the problem with the least neglect. Neglect starts as an infection. And if you don't take care of it, it becomes a disease. And one neglect leads to another. And the worst of all, when neglect starts, it diminishes our self-worth, our self-confidence, our self-value. You say, well, how can I get back my self-respect? I'm telling you, you don't have to go to 29 classes. All you have to do is start the smallest discipline that now corresponds to your own philosophy, like I should, and I could, and I will. No longer will I let neglect stack up on me so that I will have the sorry scenario 6 years from now, giving some excuse instead of celebrating my progress. That's the key to discipline. Okay? Let's get kids involved in the least of disciplines. One more, and then one more, and then another one, and then another one, and then some more. And the first thing you know, you're starting to weave the tapestry of a disciplined life into which you can pour more wisdom and more attitude and more strong feeling, more faith and more courage. Now you've got something, a vessel in which to put it. And now the equities start to flow. And the early return, I'm telling you, if you'll start this process, the early return will have you so excited. You'll commit yourself to this strategy for the rest of your life. You'll never go back to the old ways. Join a new crowd. Join a new group. The disciplines to do it. Take action. I recommended the last time I was here, the little book, Richest Man in Babylon, and I said, I've lectured now to over 3 million people in the last 33 years, and I've recommended this little book to almost all of them, I think. Guess how many have actually gone and got this little book? Answer, very few. My best guess is 10%. Such an easy thing to do. In that last seminar, right, I suggested this little book, number one, is easy to find. Number two, it's easy to buy. The most you can pay for it, $6, $7, $8. You can borrow that from your kids. And number three, it's easy to read. It's in story form. That's why I use it for teenagers, teaching them how to be rich by 40, 35 if you're extra bright, much sooner if you find a unique opportunity. But if it's easy to find and easy to buy, and if it's easy to read, why wouldn't everybody go get it? We don't know. What do you know? You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Here's how profound it is. Some do and some don't. Now, here's the numbers. About 10% do. 90% don't or won't. We don't know the mystery of that. And I'm telling you, 10 years from now, those numbers will still be the same. 10% will, 90% won't. The numbers don't change. Only the faces change. You're looking at one of the faces. I used to belong to the 90% who couldn't be bothered even if it was easy. Guess how many people have a library card? Wisdom of the world available. Transform your life in any value amount you want. By the way, how much is a library card in Texas? Free. Here's what free is. Easy. I mean, it can't be any easier than free. Somebody says, well, would you bring it by? Well, no, at least you got to go get it.